Hello and welcome to the Empire State Trail Weekly Update, a look at news from across the Erie Canalway and the Empire State Trail. And this is the update for April 12th to April 18th, 2026. And we're taking a look at Fairport here this Sunday morning, and it's a cool morning and not a lot going on. This is the Fairport Canal Cam. And if you want to get an idea of what's going on at Fairport, you can take a look at that. The one report of flooding we had on the trail was out by Lyons, and you can see it here. April 7th, it reached its peak at over 15 foot high on the flood gauge. We had a visitor to the Historian's Hideaway this week who mentioned he got his feet wet going through here. It's not a great idea to run through, water, standing water, because you never know what's underneath unless you can see the bottom. It's a couple inches deep and you can see the bottom. If it's deeper than that, yet your feet are getting wet. It's not a great idea, but I think the flooding was in such a place that to go back was not a great idea either. So he pushed on, got his feet wet, and you can see now that the flooding has gone down. It's back down to normal. Looks like normal heights here. So yeah, it's actually lower. They got it lower than they had it just a month ago. So that should be cleaned up, but just be looking out for, mud and debris and stuff like that on the trail. It could still be very slippery, especially if you get a little more rain here. Let's take a look at news. Parks and Trails is still looking for volunteers in the clean sweep, but they don't have any more new news going on here. Now that was easy. I don't see other news popping up this week. It's been a pretty light news week. Trail closures, there's no new trail closures. Of course, we have the ongoing closure down there in Manhattan. And then the closure there for the trail resurfacing in Rochester. This should be wrapping up pretty soon, I think. They said it was an early spring project. Trail closed at E21. I saw a notice about that on the one of the Facebook post this week. That person had to use 40 or 46 to get around that. Trail closure there in Durhamville over the aqueduct. The trail closure at the, or not the trail closure, but the bridge over on 490 by Bushnell's Basin is being worked on, so they just ask you to be cautious about that. And then the big one is the LaSalle Park closure, which is ongoing through the summer. And that's just highlighted here in the map. So nothing major. Getting into the big news this week, I guess, is somebody was harassed on the Erie Canal Trail out by Rochester. So the sheriff is just saying, be cautious. And this is a good idea. Be aware of your surroundings. Keep looking back. It's always a good idea when you're walking on the trail to keep looking back anyway. You want to see something, if there's a person behind you coming up on you really quick. If you're wearing earbuds or headphones, either have one ear out or have it turned down in such a way that you can hear people coming up behind you who are saying on your left and they want to get around you safely. Or if you got somebody exposing yourself. Of course, always call this into the police. But they're just saying, be cautious, be aware of your surroundings out there. Always a good idea. This is an ongoing story. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen this year. Last year, when all this nonsense with Canada started, I think a lot of Canadians had travel plans already in pocket, and they were going to go no matter what. But this year, now we're into a year and a half of this nonsense. The Canadians are staying home, and that could really impact a lot of places in New York State. We've had a lot of Canadians on the trail in the past years, and a decrease of 10% or whatever is going to be noticeable. So they're saying the 20% decline. So that's quite a slump. Last week I noted two young men from Brooklyn who may have been the first riders, cross-state riders of the year. Well, we got a call this week from this young man here from Troy, Will from Troy. And yes, that is snow on the ground. It was a bitter cold night. He stayed in the hideaway. He was looking for a place that was dry at least. They said he had wet feet, so we put his shoes on the heater and got those dried out for him overnight and gave him a warm shower and a warm place not a warm place to sleep. The hideaway's not heated by any means, but he had a cold sleeping bag or a cold temperature sleeping bag. But anyway, he brought up something. He was talking about his, he volunteers at the Troy Recycle program. And I started looking into recycle programs. I really didn't know a heck of a lot about them. And that brought up this New York Bicycle Coalition, which is another organization I knew nothing about. I always thought this was New York City based, but it's not. It's for everybody in New York who's a bicyclist. They're looking out for everybody. And a lot of great resources here. New York bike law, events, the resources here. I went down and, cycling clubs, co-ops, and that's what I was interested in. So I clicked on that, and it gave me a listing of all the different co-ops across the state. And sure enough, here's the Troy Bike Rescue. So this is a neat resource, and didn't know a lot about co-ops, but they, you go in, you can get if you need a bike, they sell bikes cheap. They take donations. They also have, a lot of them have programs to teach you how to maintain your bikes. You can attend that, or you can help out. You can get a bike that way. Looks like a real neat program. Of course, they're in the bigger cities. So my little Port Byron here is not going to have a co-op, but all the big cities seem to have one. So if you're looking for a place to go get some education, how to maintain your bike, because they're certainly complicated these days. Understand a lot of these bikes are going to have older stuff. People are upgrading the carbon with electronic shifting, and they're getting rid of their old stuff. But hey, that's all. It all gets you where you're going to go. Anyway, the New York Bike Coalition. It's a great resource. And go over. They have a newsletter. You can just sign up and get the newsletter. You don't have to pay or be a member to get the newsletter, so you can stay abreast of what's going on. So pretty neat. What else we got going on here? Oh, here's another one. Celebrate Trails Day is April 25th. I didn't know there was a Trails Day. I've heard about other trail days in June, but Rails to Trails Conservancy has a Trails Day on April 25th. Again, here's where all the programs are. You can explore. A lot of things going on out there that you really may not being paid attention to if you're not paying attention. That makes any sense at all. Anyway, what's going on with us? We got the Canal Clean Sweep coming up, April 17th, 19th, Parks and Trails. New York is looking for volunteers. I saw some I thought was humorous Facebook post. Canal Corp posted this event, and all these people wrote in, why aren't our tax dollars cleaning up the trails, and, get the so-and-sos out there to clean up the trail, and why am I going to volunteer when you can be paid, and why is the state doing this? And we had a number of pushback, which I really like to see. A number of people pushed back and said, this has been going on for 20 years. It's not something New York State Canals came up with this year. Parks and Trails has been doing this in 20 years now. And so it's nice to see the pushback against the anti-everything people. Anyway, there's your political discourse for today. Historic Marker Weekend, 24th to 26th. You can clean your marker while celebrating your trail day with the Rails to Trails people, I guess. So that's it. It's a light news week, but if we look at the calendar, May is starting to heat up a little bit. We got the Schenectady County Triathlon coming up, a Weedsport Speedway opener, which you probably won't be going to Speedway, but if you're planning on passing through that area that weekend, you could run into a little bit of traffic. The Seneca Chief in Waterford is going to have an open event. They're going to have this is along with the opening of the canals. If things aren't in flood at that time, they'll open up the canals. So you have the Waterford Canal Festival, and the Seneca Chief is going to be at Waterford. So that's something you may want to be looking forward to. And then in June, the Seneca Chief is going to be moving across the state, going back to Buffalo. So if you want to see it, here's the calendar. They made a presentation at the Canal Society Symposium in March, and they showed a slide of their tentative dates, where they want to be on certain dates. So I plopped them all here on the calendar. So they're going to leave Waterford on the 6th of June. They're going to go to Amsterdam, then they're going to go to Little Falls. They're not making as many stops on the way home. They're lining up some school groups, and so that's why it's 2-day stops everywhere. And then on a weekend, I guess they will have open houses. But Little Falls, then they're in Rome. Then they get to Sylvan Beach, and then if the weather's good, they cross the lake and get to Brewerton. And they're going to be in Syracuse. They're going to spend a day in Baldwinsville, a couple days in Lyon. This is a pretty ambitious schedule, I have to say. You can't expect delays. I mean, one bad weather storm is going to delay this. Fairport, then Rochester, Holly, Medina, Tonawanda, then they're back in Buffalo on the 27th. So if you're riding along the trail that month, in the month of June, you can be on the lookout for the Seneca Chief. Give it a wave. I'm sure they'll be happy to see you. And that's it for this week's Empire State Trail Weekly. Please note that this is an independent weekly update and is not affiliated with New York State, the Canal Corporation, or any official trail agency, and information is based on publicly available sources and rider reports. And the music, a note, is AI generated with helpful suggestions from me. I was playing around with having trail and canal side trail songs, riding music. So I paid for Suno for a couple months and quote-unquote wrote some songs for canal trails. If anybody wants to steal them and make a real band sing them, that's fine with me. I just thought it was a cute little project. So that's what the trail music is as I play out here. Remember to give this a like and subscribe, and we will see you next week.
Ohio Beal waters, rapids roar. Forest call, I'm back for more. Tunnels shining, trestles tall. Past the mountains, I give my all. Roll on, ride on up the hill, down the line. Push hard, breathe deep. Every mile feel fine. From the city to the mountains, wheels keep time on the great Allegheny. I climb. Savage tunnels, daylight through. Every mile feels fresh, feels new. Coal and steel have gone away, but the passage rides today. Frostburg waiting on the hill, Cumberland calling quiet still. Towpath joins me, trail runs long, pedal forward strong